So the project proposal document, which is the first thing you have to do, is where you take your project idea and just specify it in a bit more detail. So it's a title, a summary, background, proposed approach, deliverables, tech reviews, tech requirements, and 2 FYP reviews. The summary is just an overview of what you want to do for your project. I like to break that down into 6 questions. What's the area you're looking at? What's the specific problem you're tackling? What does the literature say? How are you going to tackle it? How will you technically implement the solution? And then what results do you anticipate getting, or how will you measure your results? It's usually about 200 words long. Let's say, for example, we were looking at how some companies, a lot of staff leave, come and go. There's a lot of churn in the staff. If there's a lot of people leaving, they're losing a lot of organizational knowledge. So one way some companies preserve that organizational knowledge is they set up wikis or blogs or internal documents that people have to fill out, so that as they learn about the job, they put information into these repositories, so that then if somebody does go, at least there's some place the new staff can look up to find the new information. So if we were doing a project like that, what we'd say is this research investigates the area of knowledge capture. That's the name for capturing expertise in the domain of knowledge management, which is the whole area of managing people's knowledge. What's the problem? By introducing a new technology into the workplace, the staff will be able to record their ideas. Existing research, that's one of the questions, indicates that there may be benefits to capturing organizational knowledge. In this work, a wiki will be introduced into the workplace and logins will be provided to staff. The wiki has a range of templates to support a range of approaches for creating ideas and recording them, and then the results will measure whether the wiki has captured organizational knowledge or not. So the questions again are, number 1, what's the area it's in? Number 2, what's the problem being tackled? Number 3, what does the literature say? Number 4 is, how will you tackle the problem? Number 5 is, how will you implement that solution? And then number 6 is, how will you evaluate or capture the results? So you just answered those 6 questions and then put them into a single paragraph. One of the requirements for the proposal is that you do a bit of background reading. So Google, the search engine, has a special search engine for academic information called Google Scholar. So if you're interested in a particular area, for example, I don't know, robotics, if you type in the word robotics in Google Scholar, you can find papers relevant to that area. So whatever the area you're interested in, databases, computer networks, security, whatever it is, you can type that into Google Scholar, find some papers that are interesting and related to the topic you're investigating or interested in, and write a couple of sentence summary of each of them. If you're referencing papers, there's a little double quotes underneath each paper identified in Google Scholar, and that quote, if you click on that, you can cite, it gives you how to reference that particular paper in Harvard style. I'll explain that in more detail in a subsequent video. Your proposed approach is, how are you going to do this project? What design methodologies will you use? What technical architecture will you use? Will you have a front end, middle tier, back end? If you have a front end, are you going to create use cases, templates, prototype templates? If you're doing a back end, are you going to do ERDs or class diagrams? What are you going to do? What middle layers will there be? A security layer, an authentication layer? What will that be? How will you implement it? What technologies could you use? Could you use Java, Python, R, JES, Weka, C++, whatever? And how will you test and evaluate it? Deliverables, what will you deliver? So, you're going to write a dissertation by the end of this. You will also have to write an interim report. You will deliver a working system that will, whatever it'll do, maybe you'll create a manual to help people use it, videos to help explain how to do it. Maybe you'll create a poster, who knows, what else? Just to think about things you may deliver, and I would mark some as definitely will deliver and some as I'd like to deliver. What do you need for this? And ideally, We'd like people to do projects that they can develop on their existing hardware and software. School of Computing does have some flexibility in terms of buying a little bit of equipment, but you have to email me and let me know, and we have to have a conversation about whether you need it or not, because there's a lot of excellent software simulators for a lot of things out there. And we'd always recommend, if you can do it free, that's great, because sometimes doing it free adds some more interesting constraints to the process anyway. In terms of the proposals, if you go onto my website again, damiantgordon.com/courses/projects level 8, there's a whole section on the proposals that we can have a look at. So the due date of the proposal is the 12th of October at 5 p.m. and you'll submit that through Brightspace. So make sure you're registered by that time. Thanks very much. I hope this was helpful.